Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Now I've touched upon author Raymond Briggs' work before with the animated film When the Wind Blows, but in this episode of Jambareeqi Shorts I'm going to discuss one of his more light-hearted work. Well, light-hearted for Raymond Briggs, that is. It's an animated short called The Snowman. In The Snowman, a boy called James builds a snowman at Christmas and it comes to life. I'll admit that nothing much really happens in The Snowman. James and the snowman explore James's house, ride a motorcycle, and then fly off to a snowman party, the latter being the only fantastical scene in the short. However, there's still something special and magical happening throughout the story. James and the snowman bonding. They share each other's cultures, do fun things together, and look out for each other. They develop a sweet friendship that all audiences fall in love with because it's so naive and innocent. This adds weight and importance to the ending of the short, where the snowman sadly passes away after melting overnight. You see, author Raymond Briggs designed the snowman as an introduction to death for children, a life lesson that's integral to a child's process of growing up. We all learn about our own mortalities at some point, and the snowman is one way of discovering the harsh truth. It also helps set children up for losing a loved one in the future, another inevitable emotional conflict kids will face one day. While I do respect the short for presenting death this honestly and sincerely to children, without sugarcoating anything at all, the fact that the short abruptly ends after the snowman dies does make the lesson feel rushed and mean-spirited. No one assures James that he'll make it through his grieving stage, and we don't get to see him eventually moving on. Yes, death is a harsh truth that we must learn, but it's also important that we find healthy ways of accepting it and moving on. This is why I prefer how Don Bluth's The Land Before Time handles death. It is the right balance of crushing reality and constructive optimism.
It is nobody's fault. The great circle of life has begun. But you see, not all of us arrive together at the end.
What'll I do? I miss her so much.
And you'll always miss her, but she'll always be with you, as long as you remember the things she taught you.
Yes, James does look at his snowman scarf to remind him of the memories, but I still feel like the short's lesson on death is unfinished and capped off too early. Despite this cruel ending, I still think that The Snowman is a spellbinding blend of music and animation. The animation style is incredibly lovely. It has this endearing handmade charm where you can see the crispy texture of the paper and the rough strokes of the pencil lines. It really shows the level of artistry, detail and effort that went into crafting the hand-drawn animation for this short. Just like the book it's based on, The Snowman also has no dialogue whatsoever. Everything is communicated through the animation, and the visuals speak volumes, as the animators embrace the golden rule of filmmaking, show don't tell. For example, the timing of the snowman's reactions to things around the house is pure genius. Every movement he makes is bursting with well-paced intrigue. The animator's ability to illustrate the snowman's childlike curiosity is astounding, indicating an understanding of what it takes to show what a character is thinking without making them talk. Then we have the breathtaking flight sequence, where the snowman lifts James into the sky and flies him to a snowman party. This entire scene is animated with so much majestic scope. I love how the camera sweeps, glides and rotates to show dimension to the sights our characters fly past. The flight sequence always gives me goosebumps, especially when the song Walking in the Air kicks in, an operatic piece written by composer Howard Blake and sang by choir boy Peter Orty. The whole song truly captures the weightless magic of enchanted flight beautifully, from the music's tiptoeing melody to Orty's high-pitched soprano voice. Howard Blake also composed the original music score for the short, and it's very clever. To make up for the lack of sound effects and dialogue, Blake uses the music to support everything we see on screen, whether it's a loud noise that might wake up James's parents, or the build-up of the snowman's steps before he lifts up into flight. This is music being used for storytelling at its finest. To conclude, while I think that The Snowman has an abrupt ending that feels unfinished, I still think that it's a lovely and bittersweet short, held together by intelligent music and breathtaking animation. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. Cheerio, folks.